I'm Zaid Hafiz, and I'm 17 years old, and I'm a senior in high school, and I plan to study physics with pre-med.
I'm Robin. I am from Taiwan, and I'm now a scientist working at a biotech company based in Boston.
So for your biotech company, like what line of work are you in?
So basically, I major in biology, and then when I was looking for my postdoc training, I was thinking of doing a new topic. And so because I am hard of hearing, and I would like to know more about myself and the biology of the inner ear. And so I kind of switched my research topic to learning about the inner ear biology. And that's how I got the postdoc training at Mass Eye and Ear, a hospital in Boston. And then because of this postdoc training, I got a position in a company called Akouos. And so the company is focused on developing gene therapy products for hereditary hearing loss populations and community. And so it's sort of like connected and very aligned with my postdoc training.
Okay. All right, that's cool.
Thank you. Would you like to talk about your hard of hearing, or did you feel comfortable talking about it?
I think I was 4 years old when I was diagnosed. I think my hearing loss might be hereditary because I do have some family members with partial hearing loss. So that's about it.
So okay, so did you do any genetic testing for this, or you just confirm that there is symptom and then there is sensory neural hearing loss?
So I never got genetic testing. Since I was 4 years old at the time, we were actually I think we were about to do genetic testing, but my dad was like, he's had enough tests. We know he has hearing loss. That's about it. I've been interested in getting genetic testing because I think it's certainly a probable cause for the hearing loss. So what type of hearing loss do you have?
I don't know. So although I study biology, I never got like the genetic I got the very general genetic testing in Taiwan. There are more people that have connexin 26 mutations or Usher, but I don't know. So none of them are positive. No family history, but I have late onset progressive hearing loss, bilateral.
Maybe we can talk about the challenges we faced with hearing loss.
My parents didn't know much about hearing loss. They didn't major in science. They majored in literature. So basically they were very far away from biology. And also the doctors just said, oh, you have hearing loss and there's nothing we can do about it. And you just regularly check if it gets worse and then get amplifiers, and that's it. And so I think there was a lot of unknown. Also in the Asian society, people want to be, I didn't want to stand out. So I felt like it was a bad idea if I tell other people that I have hearing loss. And so I tried to be as normal as I could. Where I had some trouble communicating, but I tried to behave just as other hearing people can do. So that's kind of, I think it's not aligned with who I am. So I felt uncomfortable when I grew up.
No, actually, I understand that a lot. Just trying not to stand out too much with your hearing loss. I don't know if I'd say I've tried to hide it, but it's not really something I tell people unless I have to. Um, for me, it wasn't so much, since I have good hearing aids, it wasn't so much listening and like volume wise, it was more just like catching everything they said. I got I'm not sure you would call it, but like auditory exhaustion, just really tired from listening since it wasn't something I was very good at. Um, I guess maybe I have had some issues with the school system, but not too much as in just in social life, like having conversations, particularly in crowded environments, can be quite difficult. So like maybe at a party that my parents dragged me to or whatnot, uh, I generally try to avoid having conversations if it's loud, just because it gets very awkward and I have to like put my ear right up to their mouth and and whatnot. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that.
Then I have a question. Could you explain again about the auditory exhaustion that you just said? What may be the scenario that creates such exhaustion?
I guess since listening isn't something that is one of my strengths, being in school and just having to listen all day, it can just be mentally exhausting after a while, especially if there's a lot of information being thrown at you. Yeah.
I
Uh,
agree with that.
yeah. Early on in primary school, I wasn't a very good student. And then towards the end of high school, I was almost an A student, and I was in the harder classes, particularly with math and science. Uh, and what's strange is that I wouldn't really say I put more work into it. Maybe it's just that the things I was good at became primary focus, and I had to learn to be a more independent learner because I couldn't really rely too much on what I heard in the class. So I just kind of relied on myself, I suppose. And that's what I do now. I probably shouldn't be doing this, but in like math and like all those others classes, sometimes I just don't even bother paying attention because I know I'm just gonna go back and look at all the notes and just learn it that way. And I do find I'm like an A minus student now, so it works. It works out. I really do enjoy physics, especially like the theoretical sides and astronomy, all that stuff. It's something that I'll read about on my own and whatnot. I told you this already, but I plan on doing pre-med with a physics degree. Um, so my dad is a physician. He went to med school in Pakistan and then he came to the US for residency and now he practices here. Uh, of course, he loves the idea that I want to be a doctor. um,
Family tradition.
yeah, I really did contemplate whether or not I would be more interested in pursuing a professional degree in physics or uh, becoming a doctor. Right now, my goal is to become a doctor. That's what I guess I would rather do. But I guess I have time to change my mind since that option will be available 4 years from now. So
I think you can have that question in your mind during the entire university time, and
right,
probably like 1 or 2 years later, after you talk to more people, you may find a lot of mentors
right,
at university, and that they can help you find out the answer to this question.
hmm
And I think both will be fascinating journeys as
yeah,
long as you like doing them,
hmm
and you're willing to invest your time on that. There's no good or bad. I guess it's just about choice. If I can talk to a parent who has or parents who have a kid with hard of hearing or deaf issues, I would probably say you should protect them by teaching them to self-advocate themselves, but never overprotect them, because in the end of the day, they still need to learn how to live independently and how to live within the society with other hearing people. So I guess for parents, you can, because you're adults, so you can look for other resources that may support your kid. But then when the time is there, you need to let them be themselves. And I think it's going to be a challenging journey, but I think your kid can do it.
I think that's good advice. I think something else I would add is, well, I guess you were kind of already adding this, but patience is very important. In the beginning, it was fairly difficult, but right now it's working out quite fine. For parents, they're probably concerned about their child's future, but a lot of deaf and hard of hearing people function very well in society, and a lot of them are very successful. So while it is another barrier, I think it's one that you can pass very easily, but it might take some time.
I think there is one thing I can think of. I guess that was the thing I wanted to tell my mom. I don't know if the parents would feel the same, but I could feel like my mom blamed herself for having for having this hearing loss issue. She blamed herself. It's not necessary to feel bad, because as a parent, I believe you're doing the best for your kids, and that's more important than the other things.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
Hmm.
Just support your kid and be patient. I think those are probably the two takeaways.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good takeaway.
Yeah. I guess that concludes it, and that's a wrap.